Before we begin, I would like to make it clear that I like phantomstrider. But after looking back at his older videos, a lot of them haven't aged well. And the video I'm about to cover today is one of them. I'm scared.
Good old Cartoon Network has given us some timeless cartoons over the last couple of decades. But they've also had their share of truly bad shows. Often, Cartoon Network frantically hid away these vile experiments gone wrong, desperately attempting to draw all our attention away from them. Some of these shows are painfully pandering, incredibly boring, or just plain ugly. So we're gonna check them out today. So let's take a look at the top 10 worst Cartoon Network shows of all time. As always, if you do like these shows, that's great. It's nice that you can enjoy something that I just can't. And in the end, it's just my silly personal opinion. With that said, on to the countdown.
Okay, so phantomstrider's audio isn't the best. It's quite echoey. However, it is understandable, since this is one of his first videos.
Number 10. Uncle Grandpa. This cartoon seems to make its way into a lot of worst lists, and I can definitely see why. But I discovered it has a huge cult following, so it must have something that I'm not seeing. The entire show is like seeing Rebecca Sugar's hyperactive psychotic brother on LSD. In case you don't know the stellar plot to this show, what essentially happens in each episode is Uncle Grandpa goes around to children's houses every day to check up on them. He carries a fanny pack that talks to children and lives in his van.
It's called an RV, damn it.
Am I the only one finding this concept really creepy?
No, because Uncle Grandpa often helps these kids with their problems.
I'm your Uncle Grandpa!
He's not just your Uncle Grandpa, he's everyone in the world's Uncle and Grandpa! And when he comes to visit, it's sure to be a time you'll never forget!
That clip had nothing to do with what you're saying.
It doesn't help that he already looks like he just escaped from the loony bin.
The show itself kind of does say that.
Why don't you just do what I did to escape prison and hop the fence?
Uncle Grandpa himself is not a pleasant character to watch. He's intensely aggravating.
That's the point of his character, though.
And I think the only way I could laugh at him was if he was run over by a steamroller. They even did a crossover with Steven Universe at one point, as though mixing gold with sewage would make it slightly more tolerable. But Uncle Grandpa is so bad that it managed to make Steven Universe actually bad. This is the only Steven Universe episode I have not watched. I watched it for 1 minute and closed it, removing it from my library and never looking at it again. This cartoon is so astonishingly awful that it can manage to soil the record of one of my favorite cartoons of all time.
Nah. That was clearly the best episode of Steven Universe.
The award for Best Steven Universe episode goes to... I can't believe it! Uncle Grandpa!
Now attempt to argue with me. You just can't, can ya?
Clearly, though, I'm in the minority, as this sewage pipe of a show has leaked out 4 more seasons.
Actually, it was 5 seasons, lol.
To be honest, this show is very high on the list, because, as surreal and bad as it is, I like the good messages behind each episode. Personally, I don't recommend this show.
How is this even possible?
Don't worry, bro. None of this is canon. But this is...
Again, that clip had nothing to do with what you're saying.
And for number 9, Super Noobs. Fortunately, this show was cancelled after 13 episodes. And you wonder why? Even the name of this show sounds like it's trying to appeal to the younger generations.
Why is that a bad thing?
And the title of each show is a clever play on the word noob. Except, it's not clever. Who keeps greenlighting these pandering heaps of bile?
Me.
And don't forget, they've got battle balls to fight alien ninjas, yeah. The word newbie had a kind of charm to it when I first heard it being tossed around in MMORPGs 13 years ago. It has now become a word that makes me want to pull my hair out in fury, because of shows like this.
It's a play on words.
Again, that clip had nothing to do with what you're saying.
These kids are painfully overdone stereotypes. You've got the jock, the nerd, the cool kid. It's just one big stereotype parade.
Again, why is that a bad thing? A show having stereotypes doesn't automatically make it bad.
Admittedly, this one is pretty high on the list because the animation is actually okay. Its CG isn't too lazy and it's pleasant enough to look at. But mostly, it's a bland, tasteless cement mix of stereotypes, desperately trying to appeal to the young teen demographic. Number 8. Problem Solvers.
The sky would start so bright, the colors feel so right. I've never felt like this, I'll keep on running. The sky would start so bright.
The colors feel so right. Wait, what just happened?
Number 7. Johnny Test. Originally, this was going on my worst cartoons list, because this show really annoys me. I mean, it is definitely the most forgettable, teen-pandering garbage we've ever been given on Cartoon Network.
No, Johnny Test is something the world will never forget.
Don't worry, Psycho Sisters. With my new ninja prowess, there's no way Bling Bling Boy can stop me.
Again, that clip had nothing to do with anything.
And at this point, that's against some stiff competition. Everything about the annoying main character looks like it's ticking some executive's box for appealing to the young crowd.
Again, why is that a bad thing?
Fiery hair, turbocharged backpack, a talking dog, sticking it to those stupid parental authority figures, a messy room. Yes, I hear those kids have messy rooms nowadays. That pretentious, self-entitled, overprivileged, smug, incredibly annoying smile. Arrgh! I just want to smack this kid and he hasn't even said anything yet.
Sorry, my good sir, but that would be considered child abuse.
Johnny himself, the main character, is an obnoxious, overprivileged, self-absorbed show-off. 'Cause, you know, that's relatable and charming.
That's the point of his character though. You're not supposed to like him.
And there's now over 91 episodes of this show. So clearly they're appealing to under 7-year-olds? Maybe they're fascinated by the bright colors. I just don't see how else this mindless pandering junk could stay on the air so long. I recommend you keep yourself, and especially any younger viewers, far away from this show. It's formulaic, it's dull, it's obnoxious, and it's just meant to bring the young hip crowd with no innovation whatsoever. Number 6. Secret Mountains Fort Awesome. At least they're trying to do something original in this ugly crash site of a cartoon. You remember that rancid load of bile that was Uncle Grandpa?
You mean the only good thing about Steven Universe?
Well, its highly acclaimed creator made this as his original creation, because for some reason, an executive decided this show needed to be aired. If there's any hope for humanity, that executive is now fired.
So an executive deserves to lose his job just because he greenlit a show you don't like.
What I didn't realize that was Uncle Grandpa was actually an improvement over this ugly tragedy of animation. If you manage to make a cartoon where Uncle Grandpa is actually a significant improvement, you know you should never work in animation again. This collection of doodles is just one big eyesore. The main characters consist of a giant butt monster named Fart, I wish I was kidding, and a green thing covered in festering acne, and a half-naked purple thing in its underwear. The voice acting in this one is abysmal, and it made me question my grip on my sanity.
You disgustoids turn down those awesome jams and stop having fun!
Again, that clip had nothing to do with anything.
I've seen people do reviews of this show, and they never really seem like reviews. They seem more like watching the viewer's breakdown of disillusionment, as they fall into a deep pit of despair about the sad state of public broadcast.
The cartoon community in a nutshell.
Secret Mountains Fort Awesome is ugly, lazy, and boring. If you see this rancid trash bag of a cartoon, by all means do not watch it.
Why? Will it stab me or something?
And for number 4, Teen Titans Go.
Oh shit, here we go again.
Number 3, Mr. Pickle.
I'm Pickle Rick!
fuck?
I thought the 12-ounce mouse was the worst, but it turns out there was one experiment by Cartoon Network that was even worse, but it was very quickly hidden away due to abysmally low ratings in the first few episodes. And believe it or not, it was designed for kids. And the number one worst Cartoon Network show of all time is The High Fructose Adventures of the Annoying Orange.
For the love of humanity, somebody put me out of my misery! I can't stand it anymore, I can't stand it!
Ugh. In case you don't know about it, there's this highly annoying, painfully popular channel on YouTube known as The Annoying Orange. Based on their views, a lot of people like this show. Somehow. But personally, I loathe it. The squealing voice, the uncanny, creepy mouths on the fruit, the laziness of the design. I despise it.
I'm pretty sure that's the point of the show.
So hey, our old favorite executive decided, let's give the creator his own TV time slot on Cartoon Network. Let me give you 3 seconds of the first pilot episode to give you an idea of just how unbelievably brain dead this cartoon is.
I shall be merciful.
Merciful? I thought you said your name was Broccoli.
That clip really didn't prove anything.
I think it was meant to be a joke. I mean, he cackled inanely at the end. That probably means other people were expected to laugh. The only marginally tolerable part that doesn't make me want to gouge my eyes out is the only human actor in the show. Probably because I was so horrified by the tongue-lolling abomination horror fest in front of me. Nickelodeon may have given us breadwinners, but this is in a league of its own aggravating. You can watch 10 frames and be disgusted. Every 5 seconds of the show is a new violation of my senses. Every time this thing talks, I just want it to die. If at least one executive wasn't fired for this show, there is no justice in this world. There is no justice in a world where this show is allowed to be on primetime TV.
Okay, final thoughts time. Phantomstrider, the biggest problem with this video is the lack of elaboration. For most of this list you just state what the show has in it. And that's because it has those things. It automatically makes the show bad, without any elaboration on why those things are bad. Also, all the clips you played had nothing to do with what you were saying most of the time. And you were way too overdramatic at times, leading to some unintentional comedy. So my advice to you is to elaborate more, and to make sure that the clips you play have to do with what you're saying, and to make sure to calm down before making a video. Anyways, I hope you all have a nice day and don't be a bully.